In this part of the course, we'll be going through how we can create the main road. This is going to be based off an existing exemplar cross-section that I've got. If I go ahead and open that up, I'm going to drop it into my view here. Now on here, we can see that we've got everything that we need to define the cross-section in Novapoint. If I just grab my rectangle tool here, we can see that I've got the widths of my surfaces here. I know what they are as I've got the names up here. Not to mention the materials and the pavement thicknesses that I need down here at the bottom. So immediately we can see we're going to need our traffic lanes, of course. We're going to need road shoulders. We're going to need extra surfaces to cover this ditch here. Not to mention we've got some little landscaping features here, so we've got some extra ditches on the ends that we also need to account for. So knowing all that information, let's go ahead and start building our road. I'll minimize that, and off we go. So I'll start off by selecting my summary task where I want to fit my road task. When I'm at the Novapoint tab at the top, I select road. Now I'll do road model 1000. I need to select my line, which is going to be road 1000. And we know for a fact that we do not need the full length of the road building. As if I drag and drop our alignment into view here, if it was the full length, it would go straight through our roundabout, which we don't need. So what we need to do is define where exactly we want the road to build to. And earlier we prepared for this because we snapped our roundabout arm to this chainage. So chainage 200, nice and round. So we'll start at 0 and go to 200. That means that the road that we're about to design will go from the start of the alignment all the way up to the roundabout arm. Now for the calculation basis. As before, this is simply the ground surface. Press close. Now onto the actual cross-section itself. Select the design tab at the top underneath the road heading. In here we've got lots of options. I'm going to start by opening up the cross-section tool. This will give us an example of what the cross-section will currently look like if we were to finish the task and build the 3D model. And this is what it is by default for my settings. So to start things off, we need to start with our surfaces. And to do that, I'm going to right click on my canvas and select road surfaces. This is also accessible via the tab up here, road surfaces. Now I'm in here, I need to define my left side and my right side of the road here. So I'll start with my left lane, and I'm going to change my width to 3.65, as that is what it is in the cross section. And my slope is going to be negative 0.25. And then for my shoulder, the width is much greater than that. It's going to be at 2.5. The slope is the same as the traffic lane, so I can leave it as inherit, as it's going to inherit the slope from the previous one. Moving on to the ditches, we don't actually need these ones here that are currently defined, as we're going to define our own as extra surfaces. So I'm simply going to right click the top node here where it says ditch and clear contents and press yes. However, what we do need is some extra surfaces. So the top node at the left side, I'm going to go to insert extra surface. Now by default it will drop a left extra 1, which is the one that we need. I know that because if I right click the node, insert, I have all my surfaces that I can define here. And I want a ditch slope surface. So I'll do my start chainage, my end chainage. For everything for this road that I'm building, I'm going to do 0 to 9999. So just keep that in mind. Now we're going on to our width. We want 0.5 here, a slope of negative 0.2. You're also able to copy and paste these values, so Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, and you can navigate with your arrow keys. Now let's start defining some more surfaces. So left extra 2, that's going to be the bottom of my ditch here. So for the width, I'm going to have 0.4. Since it's the bottom of the ditch, I'm going to give it a slope of 0. Then onto surface 3, we're on the other side of our ditch now. Give it a width of 0.5 and a slope of 0.2. which will bring us up to the same point where we left off at the initial surface. Now moving on to the next surface that we're going to need, let's just go and have a look at our cross section again. So we've just defined this ditch down here. Now we need to get onto the cycle lane and the other shoulders that are around that. So we'll go right click, insert, and then for this one we want left extra 9, which is going to be our road shoulder, or cycle lane shoulder really in our case. Again with the chainage. A width of 1, and then a slope of 0.05. Now I want my footpath cycle lane. Width of this is going to be 3 meters. A slope of 0.05. And then the final extra surface that I'm going to do here, road shoulder. The width of 1 meter with no slope. Great. So now let's just check through all of those to make sure it's all saved. And we see we have a problem with our initial one. I might have clicked off of this somehow. So 0.5, 0.5, negative 0.2, negative 0.2. There we are. Now everything's saved and good. For the right hand side, we're going to do things a little bit differently, but our lane and the shoulder is going to be exactly the same. So I can simply copy that from left to right. So right click, make a copy, and overwrite. And if I go to my right hand side, I can see that it's copied all them values across for me. Nice and easy. On the right hand side, we have the ditch slopes. So let's go and consult our cross section again. Look on the right hand side. So for this one, I'm just going to use ditch slopes as we've got that ditch there. Beyond that, we have no complicated other pavement that needs to be done. So this should be fairly simple. So we've got right ditch 1, 2, and 3. And let's just alter these values to line up with what we need and what we've got on the other side, really. So 0.5, negative 0.2. And then for the bottom part of the ditch, our width is going to be 0.4. 0.4 with a slope of 0, as expected. And then onto the other side of our ditch, we want 0.5, 0.5, and a slope of 0.2. And then finally, we're going to add on another surface here. So I'm going to do surface 4. Change 0 to 9999. And this is going to have a width of 1.6. And a slope of negative 0.03. Now that I've done that, I will drag that out of the way. I'll press the apply button and we can see that all of a sudden we've got lots of new surfaces added with changed widths and slopes, which is great. So I'll press OK. Now the next step is defining the pavement that we have underneath here. So it's just taken all the default settings and applied it to everything currently. This is very much not what we need. So the next video we'll talk about the pavement descriptions.